welcome to another new lesson of the A minor progression that I just played in the demo video. So this has got theory part, and it is very important theory because it uses a lot of application based theory which is applied in your playing. So please pay attention. So we're starting with the chord shapes that I've used. First of all, I will tell you what I have used, and then I'll tell you which inversion I used and what are the other inversions possible in this same triad. Okay, so I started with this A minor, if you have noticed. So this is A minor triad, where this is actually the second inversion. This is on top, is this note is E, the third string 9th fret, the second string 10th fret, which is A, which is the root is on the second string, and then C on the first string 8th fret. So this becomes A minor triad second inversion. So okay, so now if I talk about the other possible areas where I can find out the A minor triad is, this is the root position, A, C, E. Third string second fret A, second string first fret C, and the first string open is E. So this is the root position for A minor. Then the first inversion becomes C, E, A. So where C, which is the third of the triad, comes on top. So C, E, A is the first inversion, and then this is the second inversion. So if I play just the A minor with different inversions, it will sound good already. See? It's just different sounding, but the same three notes A, C, E played in different order. So this becomes the root. So first of all, you came to know about what inversions are. So inversions are just the triad played in a different order. The root where A, C, E in the sequence comes alphabetically of the chord. So A, C, E, root, C, E, A, and then E, A, C, the second inversion. So I use this inversion for A minor, and I played the riff like this. The tabs are already given in there, so I am not going in much detail of that. Still, if I want, if you want to know which extra note I am using from the triad in the melody, that is the fifth, the root, and the second, and the C, and back to the second note, then A, and then E. Okay, so E, A, B, C, B, A. I played it twice. And then I move to the next chord, which is F major. Now there I'm using the root position, F, A, C. This is the next chord, root position, F, A, C. Understood? So now I will tell you the other inversions possible. So this is the second inversion where C comes on top. This is the D major chord, if you understand the D major chord shape. So this is the D shape, but this is actually F chord. So this is F. So C, F, and A. So second inversion of F. So one more possibility of F is what? It is A, where you play the F major chord here. Okay, so A, C, F, A, C, F, third string, second string, first string. So what are the three inversions of F major? A, C, F, the first inversion you find here, and then the second inversion is C, F, A, and the root position is here for the F. So I use the root position. What did I play in here? So the two chords I played, this time I'm using F, A, B, C, B, A, F, A, B, C, B, A. So the first chord I played was, so the two chords I played, okay, in the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 timing. Then I'm moving to G chord, but this time I'm using this second inversion of G. Okay, so this is the second inversion of G, and let's find out the other positions of the G first of all. The root position is here at the 12th and the 10th fret of the 3rd, 2nd and 1st string. G, B, D, root position. And then this is the first inversion. You must be knowing this G major chord shape. Okay, so this is B, D, G, which is the first inversion, and we are using this second inversion, which is E, G and B. D, G, B is the second inversion. So this is the third chord I'm using in the melody, and how I'm playing that? First A minor, then the third chord is G. I'm using D, G, A, B, A, G 2 times. Okay, so far A minor, F major, G major, and then I'm using the root position of E major in the progression. So far I think you have noticed the major shapes. Root position is this shape: 3rd string 9th, 2nd string 9th, 1st string 7th. So if this is E major, I just now discussed about the F major root position, also the G major root position I told you, right? So now I am playing E major root position. Let's see the E major other triads, other inversions. So at the very top, if I go to the first fret of the 3rd string and play it first fret, and the remaining 2nd and 1st string open, it is the G sharp, B and E, which is the first inversion. Okay, this is the first, you know this E major chord shape when you play it completely. So E major, right? E major chord. So but I am using the first inversion where the G sharp is coming on the top, the B is coming, after G sharp comes B, G sharp, B and E. So this is the first inversion. If I want a second inversion, it will be here, where B comes on top, B, E and G sharp. But I'm not using this here in this melody, I'm using it here, which is the root position of E major. Understood? Very good. So this is the 4th chord of the progression. How I'm playing it? I'm playing it. So I'm playing E, G sharp, and then A, the E, G sharp, A, B, A, G sharp, and twice. Okay. So far I played 4 chords. I'll play slowly again. A minor, F major, then G major, and then I'm playing E major, and then again I start with the A minor. Now after that the chord is B diminished, which is played like. Now to understand the B chord, B diminished chord, we have to understand the constituency of a diminished chord in general. So the root, the minor third, the flat fifth and the major sixth is the actual diminished chord. And the other diminished chord, which has got the root, the minor third, the flat 5 and the dominant 7, it is called half diminished or minor 7 flat 5. So right now we are not talking about the half diminished, we are talking about the proper diminished chord. So it has got the major sixth. So now in this B diminished that I'm using here is, this is the actual, if I talk about the inversion, it is the let's not learn it in terms of inversion. So I'm using the flat 5 first, then the root and then the minor third. So because I'm using 3 string, I cannot use 4 notes in the 3 string. So that's why the G sharp here is here. so I don't need that bass G sharp here to be ringing. So I'm using just the flat 5, the root and the minor third here. But if I transfer this shape 3 frets back, it becomes the another inversion which is having the G sharp now. See, this time it is the D, G sharp and B. Right now if I further go 3 frets back, so this time it is B, F and G sharp, and again I go 3 frets back, so this is now G sharp on top, D and F, and B will be here, see, on the 5th string. So this is a little complex theory, a little bit, but I think you understood the same shape. If travel 3 fret down, it is the same diminished chord but with an inversion. So in fact I'm using this one here, but I'm using one more note which is the C note here, which is out of the diminished chord constituency. So after that, then I'm going to the G major shape, but here the G major chords root position is there, so the 1 3 5, so G B D, right? So I'm playing, so this is G B C D C B 2 times, and then I'm playing the G sharp diminished. So if B diminished has got B, G sharp and F, then G sharp diminished will also have the same constituency. So very important to understand, it has got the same notes as the B diminished has got, right? So this is now, so you can feel it. Okay, so now I'm playing G sharp, but what was played in the melody was one extra note. I'm playing the G sharp, B, D and then F. So I'm playing the whole diminished chord tone here, and then this is the extra note here, E, D, C, B, D, C, B, A. So I'm ending on the A minor. So a little bit complex theory here. So I hope you understood. If there is any doubt, please ask me. The 2 diminished chord was a little trickier here, but the shape, you just have to understand the shape. This is, move 3 fret back, again 3 fret back, see? With this shape also. Understood? Your task is to, try to explore all the triad shapes in the minor and major. Start with major, for example. If you start with F major, the F major root would be this one. Play like this. Then go to the first inversion where instead of F, A should be on top. So this is the F first inversion. Now the second inversion would be C on top, which is the 5th note of the F. First inversion. Now the root position. Same can be done for the C chord. Now C root position, then C first inversion, and C second inversion will be for the major chord. The second inversion will have root on the second string. See, this is the second inversion for F, so this is the root on the second string. Second inversion for C, root here. Second inversion for G, okay, root. Now for the first inversion, the root is on the first string. I am playing with the third for every chord. I will make a different exercise, however, for the whole inversion theory. Don't worry. If you have any query, please ask me. It is a big theory to be, contained in this small lesson. But at least you got introduced to the stuff. You can think about the chord different tonality. Thank you.